Hari Om. In the last recording, we have completed chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita, the first 6 verses. And this chapter actually has one verse which is not found in all Bhagavad Gitas. As I mentioned in the last recording, the first verse is a question by Arjuna asking the Lord to clarify 6 Vedantic terms. That is Prakriti, what is Prakriti, what is Purusha, what is Kshetra, what is Kshetraknyam, what is Jnanam, and what is Jneyam. So 6 what we call terms that Arjuna wanted clarification. And we also mentioned that actually Prakriti and Kshetra mean one and the same thing, that is matter. And Purusha and Kshetraknya also mean one and the same thing, that is consciousness. And therefore the other 2 topics are Jnanam and Jneyam. So Krishna has already discussed about the matter and consciousness principle in the first 6 verses. And now we will go on to the third topic that Arjuna asked about, that is called Jnanam. Jnanam in normal context is known as knowledge. However, here in this particular context, Jnanam means what are the virtues required in a human being. These virtues, if they are there, they will allow or they will help the human being to easily absorb spiritual knowledge. So Krishna here in these verses verses 8, 9 and 10, 7, 8, 9 and 10. In verses 7, 8, 9 and 10, Krishna will enumerate 20 qualities or virtues that if a human being has more and more of these qualities, then it will make the mind very conducive to receive and absorb this spiritual knowledge. So in verses number 7, which we are going to start today, there are 9 virtues mentioned. Verses 8, 9 and 10, in each verse there will be 3 virtues mentioned. And also in verse number 11, 2 virtues will be enumerated. So total you will find 20 virtues. So what Krishna wants to say is that only when these 20 virtues are there in any individual in some quantity, then only knowledge can be easily absorbed and assimilated. And consequently, any virtues that are opposite to this, they will lead to ajnanam or ignorance. Absence of these 20 virtues take us further and further into darkness and away from spirituality. So what should we do? We should keep these 20 virtues as a checklist and make a commitment to practice these virtues or to cultivate these virtues. And then by having these virtues, by cultivating these virtues, your mind will be purified and you will easily be attracted to spiritual knowledge. You will easily absorb this spiritual knowledge and easily use this knowledge in your life. So let us now look at these virtues. So as we know that there are many spiritual masters and gurus who are speaking about who are imparting spiritual knowledge. But even though the knowledge is delivered very perfectly by the guru, if the mind of the student is not fertile with these 20 qualities, then jnanam will not become a conviction. So the knowledge will not lead to any transformation. So therefore, we must take note of these 20 virtues and also try to work towards cultivating these 20 virtues. So now how do we generate and nourish these virtues? There are 5 methods given in the Shastras, 5 practices given in the Shastras. The first practice is called Viveka. Viveka means introspection. being constantly, we have to evaluate, we have to reflect on the knowledge that we have received. So it's not only just receiving the knowledge, but we must constantly introspect, we must constantly reflect on this knowledge. And that is the first practice. Second is known as sankalpa. So sankalpa means using our power to move away from unhealthy habits. So taking a firm resolve that to do this, to move away from unhealthy habits. That is the second. Third is pratipaksha bhavana, means neutralizing an unhealthy thought pattern. How do we do that? By deliberately entertaining the opposite healthy thought pattern. So any negative thoughts must be counter-reacted with moving in the mind to the opposite type of thought. Example, if we have hatred for someone, replace it with strong determination by sending out love or blessing in your prayers for that person that you hate. So we cultivate the opposite values to try to sublimate the negative values. Fourth is satsanga. Constantly associate in the company of like-minded people who are searching for the truth. And also keeping the company of saints. Whenever saints or sages come to give spiritual talks, we must make it an effort to go and listen also. So Ramakrishna, in Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, said that whoever we consistently associate or attach ourselves to for 12 years, that's what he said, for 12 years, whoever we constantly associate or attach ourselves to for 12 years, our character becomes like that. So it takes time also. 5 is prarthana or prayer to the Lord. Surrender, constantly pray and surrender to the Lord to grace you with these virtues. So now let us look at these virtues, starting from verse number 7 in chapter 13. The first virtue that the Lord mentions is amanitvam, which means arrogance, pride, or superiority complex. Success in anything, supposing we have excessive fame, wealth, victory, and no humility. What happens is that when we have all these great things coming into our life and we don't have the nature of humility, it strengthens the ego and leads to arrogance. So amanitvam means freedom from pride, freedom from arrogance, or to put it simply as humility, a very important virtue to cultivate, especially for a spiritual seeker. That's why in our culture we do namaskar to our elders, to our gurus, to great sages and saints, to parents, and of course to God. Namaskar is nothing but an expression of our humility. In chapter 4, verse 34, Krishna said, one of the qualities of a student is when he meets the master who will impart knowledge to him, the student must have this quality of paripatena. So bow down to that guru, do namaskar, to declare your humility that you are an empty vessel, ready or ripe to receive knowledge. So that is the first what we call quality, and our pride actually is due to our own delusion, moha. What is this delusion? Delusion is we take pride in all our possessions, our accomplishments, our name, fame, power, etc. These are the cause of our pride, and scriptures say that everything in this creation, no, we must come to accept that everything in this creation belongs to the Lord, and it is the Lord who blesses us with whatever we have. So always remember that whatever you have is a blessing from the Lord. We should not get carried away and think it's because of our own effort that we have achieved all this. So that is the first quality. The second is adambitvam, which is similar to amanitvam, but there is a little difference. When I have got pride at or arrogance at mental level, it is called uh, manitvam. It is not expressed outwardly. So I feel great, I feel mighty, I feel powerful because of all my accomplishments. Whereas adhambitvam is when the inner feeling at the mental level is expressed externally. It becomes manifest. That is called adhambitvam. So how do we express our pride? Ostentation, showing off, either through our words. We speak very bombastic words. We speak very proudly of ourselves, our accomplishments, by wearing branded clothes and all kinds of expensive ornaments, only cultivating the company of what we call VIPs, and all this. So it is Adambitvam is an expression of that ego or that arrogance through our actions to let other people know about our greatness. And this is also a very great obstacle to our spiritual growth. So that's why consistently we are advised in the spiritual path to lead a simple life. Simplicity in terms of speech, dress, ornaments, simple living. Okay, that is the second virtue. Third is ahimsa or non-violence, a virtue that converts a human being to a saint. Wearing yellow robes and having long beard does not make a person a saint. The primary saintly virtue is ahimsa. This means developing a sensitive mind that understands the feelings of others. So ahimsa, non-violence, must be practiced at all three levels. Mental level, don't cultivate what we call angry or vicious thoughts about people. Verbal level, be mindful of the words you use. And physical level, of course, physical violence. Next quality is shantir. Shantir means what we call a mind that does not get easily disturbed. So often our mind gets disturbed, and that's what aggravates our chances of committing violence also. Now, how do we develop such a mind? In chapter 17, verse 16, the Lord says we should always be very mindful of our mind. We should always consistently harbor positive thoughts, cheerful thoughts. Do not be very careful, be very mindful that when negative thoughts enter your mind, you should be able to check them by redirecting your mind in the opposite direction. So that's a very important thing, to be always mindful of what is going through your mind. And there are various methods that we can use to divert the mind. One is by chanting of mantras. Whenever a wrong thought enters your mind, chant your mantras, redirect your mind. Or whenever you are provoked by some people, try to walk away from the situation. Third is, which is also not very easy, but the person whom we hate, instead of only having hate in our mind, we try to change that by consistently praying for that person. So send out positive thoughts, send out good prayers for that person. So that is how we can make our mind more sattvic. And remember that violence, whenever we have a violent response, it carries a karmic effect. We get more karmas on us. So, of course, shantir maybe take time until the other person also comes back to your point of view, but it helps us to cultivate a sattvic mind. Next quality is arjavam, which means sincerity or straightforwardness, absence of crookedness. Now again, this straightforwardness has got to be practiced at all three levels: mental, verbal and physical. So what we think is what we should speak and what we should behave that way. It's not that we pretend to behave in a very what we call saintly way, but our mind, our thoughts are all polluted. So arjavam means having a proper alignment of your mind, speech and actions, that everything is aligned towards sincerity or straightforwardness. Okay, it must be aligned at all three levels. Next quality is acharyopasanam. So there are two words here. Upasanam means to serve, to revere, to honor. Who? The Acharya. Acharya is the one who imparts the knowledge, your spiritual guide. So understand, we are not worshipping the spiritual guru, we are worshipping the knowledge that is contained in the guru. The knowledge does not belong to the guru, but it is divine knowledge that has been passed down from centuries ago by the Adi Guru, that is God Himself. So doing your duty to the Guru by taking care of his or her basic needs, doing namaskaram, giving Guru Dakshina, it is your duty to repay the Guru for knowledge which he has imparted on you. Now, what is the difference between a Guru and a teacher? Many people ask this. Teacher gives you knowledge and you are constantly dependent on him. A Guru imparts knowledge to set you free, not to be dependent on the Guru, but take solace in the knowledge. So what you should take is the knowledge, and that should set you free. So this is the duty of the Guru, not to keep him bound to himself, but to give you the knowledge so that you are free to carry on or progress on your spiritual journey. Next quality is Saucham, which means cleanliness or purity, again at all three levels. Cleanliness at manaha, thoughts, keeping our thoughts clean and pure. Okay. Kaya, keeping our physical body also clean, wearing clean clothes, keeping your environment clean, and the place where you work, where you pray, etc. Vak also means purity at the verbal level, austerity of speech, which Krishna will elaborate in chapter 17, verse 15. So if you want to know what is austerity of speech or purity of speech, read chapter 17, verse 15. Next quality, Stairyam, which means persistence or steadfastness in the spiritual journey, not giving up despite facing various obstacles. So having that attitude of steadfastness. Okay, you must be committed to your spiritual path and understand, even though you're committed to your spiritual path, due to your prarabdha karma, you will face certain obstacles in life also. So that is that quality. Next is Atma Vinigraha. So here again, Atma means in this context the body, the organs and the senses. Atma Vinigraha means to have self-control or discipline over your body, your organs and your senses, not wasting your energies on frivolous, sensual and material pursuits. And what happens when we conserve our energy instead of all the time chasing after the worldly, spiritual and sensual pursuits? When we conserve this energy, then we can direct it to the right path by consistently engaging our body on the path of dharma. So this is very important. Why we must lead a life of discipline? Because we don't waste our time and energy chasing after frivolous things, and then we redirect this time and energy towards the right pursuit. So now 9 virtues have been mentioned in verse 7. Let us look at verse number 8. Next quality in verse number 8, Indriyarteshu Vairagyam. So here the word, let's look at Vairagyam. Raga, the word the raga in Vairagyam, raga means attachment. Vairagya means freedom from. So Vairagya means freedom from attachment. So raga always goes together with dvesha. So as attachment, dvesha is hatred. Raga is attachment, dvesha is hatred. Attachment and hatred are two sides of the same coin. So what Vairagya means is transcending both raga and dvesha. In chapter 5 verse 3, Krishna described who is a true sannyasi. He said in chapter 5 verse 3, Yo na dveshti na kangshati. A true sannyasi is one who na dveshti, does not hate, Na kankshati does not favor. A sannyasi mind does not harbor likes or dislikes to any person, object, or situation, and accepts everything as Ishvara Prasadam. So, sannyasa does not refer to just wearing particular clothes or staying in a cave, but sannyasa is defined as a state of the mind, which is learning to handle raga and dvesha. Now, how does raga dvesha become a problem on our spiritual path? When I have raga or attachment to an object, I am empowering this object to cause disturbance to my state of mind. How does an object or person which I'm attached to cause my mind to be disturbed? When I'm attached to a particular object or person and I lose it, or even if there is a possibility of my losing it, then it disturbs my mind. Dvesha is hatred of an object. By cultivating more and more hatred for a particular person or a particular object or place, I empower that object or person to disturb me. It means I have given the right to that object or person to disturb me upon its arrival or the very possibility of its arrival. Thus, the more raga and dvesha I have to more and more people and objects, the more I am empowering the world to disturb me. So Krishna says, reduce your raga dvesha for the world, do your duties and responsibilities to the world, and look upon every experience as an opportunity to grow spiritually. So that is called Indriyashu Vairagyam. So Indriyashu means in regards to sense objects. So all kinds of experiences which are coming through our senses, sound, form, touch, smell, taste, and then the mind will react to all this, which are the external stimuli. So this is what we must overcome. Interestingly, in today's concept, we can understand raga dvesha, likes and dislikes, with a Facebook example. Since many people are on Facebook, let us try to look at this raga dvesha example in a current context. Now, supposing we buy a new shirt. So we buy a new shirt, we are very proud, we are very happy that we have got this shirt. And we take a picture, a selfie, and we post it on our Facebook. And we wait for responses. What do people say? So we get many thumbs ups. What is thumbs up? It is likes. We get very happy. The more thumbs up we see, the more likes we see, the more we get happy and what we call carried away. But at the same time, if we get many thumbs down, this is dislikes, dvesha. We get dejected, we get sad, we get disturbed. So elation, either we are elated through likes or dejected through dislikes. So what has happened? You have given the power to your people on the Facebook to dictate the state of your mind. You have bought a shirt, you are happy with it, but by posting it there out on Facebook or whatever social channel, you are now encouraging the world to affect the state of your mind. So what others think or say about me affects. But a sannyasi's mind, he remains untouched by positive and negative comments. Next virtue that Krishna mentions is anahamkara, freedom from what we call ego. Okay, ahamkara, freedom from ego. So that is, the word ahamkara comes from the root word aham karta. Aham karta, aham, I, karta, am the doer. Aham karta means identifying ourselves as this body-mind complex, claiming ownership and controllership over our body-mind complex. And this is one of the greatest delusions of a spiritual seeker. As if you think about it, this body-mind complex is a temporary equipment given to us by the Lord to discharge our punyam and papam in this life. It does not belong to us. It has been allocated by us to us by the law of karma. So based on what punyam and papam we have to discharge. So anahamkara here, the quality means absence of this identification with this body. So instead of claiming I am the body, I do not accept my attachment to this body. I understand the body, mind, equipment is a gift from the Lord to use for my spiritual progress, and one day I have to give this up. There's a very interesting story that comes to mind about sage Vyasa, who was standing on the banks of the Yamuna, and he could not cross the river as there was very heavy rain and the waters were very turbulent. So no boatman was willing to cross over to the other side. So as he was waiting, it was quite late at night, a group of gopis came, and they too wanted to cross the river. And when they talked to the boatman, no boatman was willing to help them. So they pleaded with Vyasa, because they said they had to go back. Their husbands, their families were waiting for them on the opposite side, and they would be very worried if they don't reach back in time. So they pleaded with Vyasa, please find a way, help us so that we can get across and go back to our homes. So Vyasa said, okay, but right now I'm very hungry. Give me something to eat, then I will see what I can do for you. So whatever food the gopis had with them, whatever milk, curds, whatever they had with them, they gave him. He kept on eating and eating and eating. And so much of food he ate and consumed that there was nothing left. The gopis had nothing more left to give him. So the gopis said, okay, now that you have satisfied your hunger, please help us as you have promised. So Vyasa went and stood on the banks of the Yamuna, and he said, O Mother Yamuna, if I have not eaten anything today, may you part your waters and allow us to cross. And the gopis were shocked upon hearing this. What is Vyasa saying? Has he lost his mind? Just now only he has taken all our food, he's eaten everything, and yet he claims that he has not eaten anything. Yet the waters of the Yamuna parted and allowed Vyasa and the gopis to cross. The reason was Mother Yamuna very well knew that Vyasa was a realized soul. He never identified himself as the body. So when he claimed, if I have not eaten anything, he was looking upon this physical gross body which he didn't identify with, because he identified himself as the pure eternal soul. Next quality, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam. Now we go through several situations in life and we say our punyam is a blessing, life is wonderful, and we have a positive outlook on life. Supposing we face some unfavorable experiences, then we develop a pessimistic outlook of life. We say life is sorrow, it is full of pain, I do not want this life. So the human mind always swings between two extremes. That is, life is wonderful, the other side, life is not worth living. Our Shastras say this is the wrong attitude. To generalize life as being only wonderful is wrong. To generalize life as is only full of sorrow is wrong. Then what is life? Life is a mixture of both joy and sorrow. Thus, don't be carried away by positive experiences. Don't become pessimistic by some negative experiences. Realize that both positive and negative experiences are but temporary. So, basically, it means to learn to enjoy a balanced mind. And when we have a balanced mind, the biggest advantage is we have this mind is available to us to absorb spiritual knowledge and to progress in life. So this balanced life Krishna is mentioning here as Janma means birth, Mrityu means death, Jara old age, Vyadi disease, Dukkha miseries, Dosha defects in the physical body, Anudarshanam. Anudarshana means thinking again and again and again about all the sorrowful experiences in your life that have happened or have yet to happen, yet all are totally not within our control. So we have to understand the body will go through all the types of conditions. Everybody cross body will go through birth, janma, dukkha will go through miseries, dosha, defects of the body, there will be some problems with this body, vyadi, there will be disease, jara, there will come old age. The very same body which is the source of much pleasure and experiences is the very same body which is going to be the source of all our pains and sorrows. May you be aware of both of them so that you can accept both of them. Enjoy the experiences that bring you pleasure, but be prepared when you are unable to enjoy them due to disease or old age or defects of the body. So, learning to accept life as a pair of opposites. And thus, that is the quality that ends in verse number 8. And next week, when we resume, we will start with more qualities or more virtues from verse number 9. Hari Om Tat Sat.